At just 27 years old, Karoline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in history, stunned the press room with a fiery response to actor Robert De Niro's attacks. He had mocked her as a MAGA puppet and a Trump parrot, but she didn't hesitate to strike back, calling him a washed-up actor just reading scripts and throwing stones from his Hollywood bubble. De Niro's viral video aimed to discredit her, but instead it became the launchpad for her boldest moment yet. With a razor-sharp rebuttal and Gen Z fire, Leavitt turned the tables on Hollywood's attempt to undermine her. De Niro's original video, shot with cinematic flair from a glitzy Los Angeles studio, painted Leavitt as a symbol of blind loyalty to Trump and political inexperience. He tore into her with disdain, calling her a naive cheerleader, a mindless mouthpiece for MAGA, and unqualified to represent America on the global stage. His scathing remarks about her youth, fashion choices, and social media presence painted a picture of someone he believed was more interested in image than substance. He even questioned her priorities, criticizing her for returning to work just 4 days after giving birth, labeling her loyalty to Trump as obsession. But the personal attacks didn't stop there. De Niro used his platform to denounce the entire MAGA movement as a political circus, with Trump as its ringleader and Leavitt as a willing participant. He warned that people like her posed a threat to the American dream and urged viewers to spread his message using the hashtag #CheatDeRoFights. The video lit up social media, drawing praise from his Hollywood base and sparking fierce debate. Meanwhile, in her office, Leavitt calmly watched the video, her resolve hardening. Rather than back down, she prepared her counter-strike. She and her team quickly dissected De Niro's points, ready to respond with facts and fire. "He calls me a fleeting breeze," she laughed. "I'll be the storm." When she emerged in the press room, cameras flashed and the nation watched live. Dressed in a striking pink suit and her signature cross necklace, she was the embodiment of the MAGA movement's Gen Z face, bold, unshaken, and ready for battle. With sharp wit and unflinching confidence, she turned De Niro's insults into ammunition. She reminded the press of Trump's economic achievements, millions of jobs created, taxes cut, citizens brought home safely. When questioned about her experience, she responded with biting sarcasm, mocking De Niro's detachment from real Americans while taking a jab at his Hollywood lifestyle. "Politics isn't the silver screen," she said. "You play heroes. We build futures." She didn't shy away from humor either, firing off a viral zinger about De Niro needing to try TikTok instead of hiding in an editing room. That comment alone catapulted Leavitt Follywood to the top of X's trending list, with memes of a stunned De Niro and captions hailing Leavitt as a MAGA superhero. But her response wasn't all punchlines. When challenged on Trump's tariffs, she delivered hard stats. A 20% tariff on China had protected jobs and generated billions in revenue. "Hollywood's filming," she said. "We're building a future for Iowa farmers, Michigan workers, and Texas businesses." Reporters took notice, even the skeptical ones. When asked about division in the country, she turned the spotlight back on De Niro's own legacy, pointing out the contradiction in a man famous for violent roles and harsh rhetoric lecturing others on unity. "That's not truth," she said. "It's acting." She closed with a personal note, sharing her roots in New Hampshire and the struggles she witnessed growing up. "I'm here for them," she said. "Not to perform, but to fight." Her response lit up social media again. Within minutes, she posted a short clip on Truth Social, "Hollywood Can't Touch MAGA," and it racked up over 2 million views. Comments poured in, declaring her the clear winner. Memes depicted De Niro as outmatched, with Leavitt as a superhero in the political arena. Even neutral voices began to acknowledge that Leavitt was rewriting the rules. When asked one final question, about the American dream, she delivered the line that sealed the moment. "We're living it, through jobs, security, and empowerment. He calls it a circus. We hold the whip." At 10:09, The crowd stood, cheers echoing through the air. She raised a hand to silence them and delivered the final blow. If Mr. Dyro wanted a debate, he should step off the screen. But he didn't. This MAGA force wasn't backing down. The room erupted, conservative reporters clapping, liberals quietly scribbling. Leavitt took aim at Hollywood, where Dyro was a long-reigning icon. A CNN reporter asked if she thought Hollywood was losing influence. She replied that the stars believe they shape opinions, but their time was over. America didn't need out-of-touch scripts. It needed action, like the USMCA saving agriculture, energy policies lowering gas prices, and apprenticeships guiding youth. That, she said, was the American dream, not Hollywood. Applause thundered, reaching millions watching live. A Newsmax reporter asked how she responded to Dyro calling her naive. Leavitt's tone softened but stayed sharp. Naive? She said she was mature enough to know Americans deserve more than empty insults. She wasn't here to please Hollywood, but to serve the people. Her words moved some in the audience to tears. America didn't need Hollywood's lectures, she concluded. America needed truth, and MAGA was the flag of that truth. Social media hit a fever pitch. The video of her speech on X reached 7 million views in an hour. Your Karoline Rising overtook Darrow fights, as users declared Leavitt had turned Darrow into a cameo. Trump posted on Truth Social calling her a great warrior. Hollywood, he said, had lost. Tucker Carlson called her Gen Z's firebrand. Charlie Kirk wrote that Leavitt taught Hollywood not to mess with MAGA. Liberal reporters tried to push back, but her arguments, data-driven and sincere, were too strong. One MSNBC reporter whispered that she was redefining the fight. Dyro's attack became Leavitt's launchpad. From being labeled naive, she became a whirlwind, clearing doubt from the room. The press room was her arena. She stood tall, proving MAGA's generation had the power to shape the future. Dyro, Hollywood glow and all, was just a shadow beside Leavitt's light. One Truth Social user wrote that Karoline didn't just take down Dyro, she took down the whole system. Her speech video, posted minutes after she left the podium, hit 10 million views in under 2 hours. Every sharp line, from burning Hollywood's lies to MAGA is the flag of truth, exploded across platforms. On Truth Social, MAGA supporters hailed her as the Gen Z queen who crushed Robert De Niro and Hollywood's illusion. Karoline Rising dominated the trending charts, while Leavitt Shallywood symbolized the clash between grassroots America and elite influence. X-users turned Leavitt's moments into viral gems. A 20-second clip mocking Dyro, try TikTok instead of the editing room, was shared millions of times. Artists released digital art, Leavitt with a truth sword over Hollywood's ruins. Dyro bewildered, captioned, "When you think you're the star but become a sidekick." MAGA Telegram groups hosted live streams breaking down her arguments like a boxing match. Leavitt had delivered a knockout in round 1. Truth Social became her stronghold. One user wrote she didn't just beat Dyro, she obliterated Hollywood's fake narrative. Posts compared her to Joan of Arc, calling her a torchbearer for truth. Forums lit up with titles like, "Is Karoline Leavitt the future of MAGA?" as even neutral voices admitted her impact. One X post from a self-described non-Trump supporter read, "Karoline Leavitt owned the stage. Her data was solid. She connected." Fox News replayed her speech in full. Sean Hannity called her the new generation's blazing torch. Newsmax ran with the headline, "Karoline Leavitt, the woman who silenced Hollywood." Liberal outlets tried. To tamp the flames, CNN labeled her overly aggressive, MSNBC brought on a scholar to defend Dyro, but both were drowned out by social media. "Aggressive? No, it's called truth," one viral post replied. Donald Trump, posting from Mar-a-Lago, called her unstoppable. The post got millions of interactions. Tucker Carlson shared her speech saying she just taught Hollywood a lesson. Charlie Kirk declared Gen Z was leading and Karoline was their flag. Elise Stefanik posted that Leavitt had just rewritten history. Hollywood had lost. These endorsements sent her momentum into overdrive. Darrow's defenders struggled to keep up. A group on X called her arrogant, only to be flooded with speech. Clips proving otherwise. One account shot back, "Not arrogance, confidence, backed by truth." Liberal commentators tried defending Darrow as democracy's voice, but their arguments sank in a sea of support for Leavitt. Memes flooded Reddit and X. One showed Darrow with the caption, "When you think you're the godfather, but Karoline turns you into the intern." Gen Z humor sealed Leavitt's cultural victory. Even skeptics were swayed. A user wrote, "She didn't just beat Darrow, she made me want to learn more about MAGA. She reached beyond the Trump base, shifting public opinion with precision." Meanwhile, Darrow's reputation faded. His attack video, once a wildfire, was now ash in the sheer Karoline rising storm. His insults about Trump being a clown and MAGA destroying the dream lost traction. 2 days after the speech, Darrow posted a lengthy statement on X defending his words, calling MAGA a threat to democracy. It received only a few thousand likes. Millions were still reposting Leavitt's lines. One viral comment mocked, "Darrow thinks he's Raging Bull, but Karoline made him a sidekick in a comedy." TikTok videos spliced Darrow's old movie scenes, with voiceovers like, "I was a star until Karoline showed up." Hollywood fans tried reviving him. The Atlantic praised him as a voice of conscience, but MAGA mocked it. Conscience? He's just good at acting. Actors and directors echoed support for Darrow, but the crowd had already moved on. Leavitt had changed the game. MAGA Telegram hosts said she tore down Hollywood's curtain, exposing its emptiness. Variety and The Hollywood Reporter admitted it. Leavitt had exposed the elite's weakness. They were out of touch, living in mansions, preaching to Americans they no longer understood. They didn't understand the American dream, until one journalist lived it with sincerity and data, achieving what Hollywood never could, connecting with the heart of ordinary Americans. That truth cut deep, forcing Hollywood to face reality. Their shine dimmed in comparison to figures like Karoline Leavitt, who reached people directly through platforms like X and Truth Social. Meanwhile, Darrow faded. The CNN interview meant to revive his image only revealed his weariness. His voice, tired and repetitive, couldn't compete with Leavitt's energy. An ex-commenter said it best. "Darrow looks like he lost a fight he didn't know had started." Hollywood, once eager to claim Darrow as a cultural hero, began to back away, afraid association with him could harm their image. A source shared, "Darrow bet his credibility and lost. Hollywood's looking for new faces, not old icons." Social. Media didn't go easy on him either. A parody video showing him as a washed-up movie character beaten by Leavitt's speech hit 5 million views. Another viral TikTok spliced her words with clips of Darrow fading away, captioned, "Hollywood 0, Karoline 1. Reddit exploded with discussions wondering if Darrow should just quit politics, most agreeing he sealed his own fate by challenging Leavitt. As Darrow slipped into obscurity, Leavitt rose. Hollywood, once untouchable, now faced a reckoning. Commentators questioned the role of elites in politics, with a Forbes piece declaring, "Leavitt proved real power lies in connecting with people, not silver screen glamour." Darrow, despite his legacy, was now a footnote in her rising story. Leavitt's victory, marked by her unapologetic presence and viral moments, turned her into a MAGA icon. She didn't slow down. Instead, she pressed forward with a mix of intellect, sincerity, and modern charisma. At a press briefing, she called out the liberal media, labeling them truth twisters. Her words drew millions of views on X. A Truth Social post summed it up. Karoline didn't just take down Darrow, she's challenging the entire media system. Her striking style, from a bold red suit to high heels, made her a fashion icon, dubbed MAGA's style queen by young designers. She crisscrossed the country, speaking at rallies in Florida, conferences in Texas, and massive events in Miami. "We don't need Hollywood to tell our story. We are the story," she declared, to roaring crowds waving Karoline 2028 signs. One supporter posted, "Karoline is the future. She makes me proud to be MAGA." But her appeal stretched beyond the MAGA base. At a youth forum in Arizona, she talked vocational training and jobs, striking a chord with young voters who hadn't previously cared about politics. President Trump created apprenticeship programs. "Millions got jobs. That's how we build the American dream," she said. The crowd erupted, and X lit up with young users saying it was the first time they felt hope in politics. One post read, "Karoline made me, a 22-year-old, care." Even liberal media took notice. The New York Times called her a new threat to the elite, though they criticized her tone. But criticism only strengthened her. "They call Karoline aggressive? Good. America needs strong leaders," one ex-user fired back. Speculation grew. Could she run for president? Reddit threads buzzed, comments predicting she was destined for greater roles. A National Review article described her as MAGA's breath of fresh air, forecasting her rise in the next decade. Truth Social buzzed too. "Karoline Leavitt is the future. She'll lead us to a greater America." Amid the whirlwind, she stayed grounded. In a rare, quiet moment, standing in her White House office, she thought of her roots. The workers in New Hampshire, the families clinging to the American dream. "I'm not doing this for fame," she said in a Newsmax interview. "I'm doing it for those who put their trust in us, in President Trump, in MAGA." That clip spread like wildfire across X. Hollywood, once the cultural epicenter, now saw its influence slipping. Leavitt, with her TikTok, Truth Social, and X mastery, proved that real power lies with those who connect directly. Forbes wrote, "Leavitt has changed how politics operates. She doesn't need the Hollywood spotlight. She creates her own." Instagram lit up with stylized tributes, Karoline in front of the American flag dubbed "The Guide for a New Generation." In one Truth Social post, she wrote, "MAGA isn't just a movement. It's a promise to America. Freedom, opportunity, truth." That post, with her standing before the White House, hit 5 million interactions. The hashtag MAGA Forever spread, across platforms. She urged people to share their own stories, turning MAGA into a movement of the people. One post read, "Karoline makes me believe we can change the country." She became more than a politician. She became a symbol, a blend of tradition and Gen Z. Faith, patriotism, hard work, with memes and momentum. A TikTok titled, "The Future is Here," racked up 2 million views. In the comments, "Karoline is who we need to lead." The once unthinkable question, could she be MAGA's first female president, now seemed within reach. The saga of Karoline Leavitt versus Robert De Niro revealed deep fault lines in American culture, between conservative values and elite narratives. At just 27, Leavitt used data, sincerity, and Gen Z style to topple a Hollywood icon. She quoted Trump's 3.2 million jobs, wore her story like a badge from a small-town ice cream shop, and outmaneuvered media giants with TikTok and memes. With 15 million views, the hashtag #CheechukKarolineRising showed that direct connection beats legacy media in today's political landscape. Her story proves one thing. When you speak truth, stay sincere, and meet people where they are, on X, on TikTok, in town halls, you can lead a movement. She had no Hollywood pedigree, just hard work, faith, data, and a fire-red suit. But Karoline Leavitt beat the odds. Just as she turned Darrow's challenge into a springboard, anyone can use their voice to create real change. Whether you're a student, worker, or entrepreneur, your story matters. Just tell it like Leavitt did. Subscribe to follow her journey and the next explosive chapter in the MAGA movement.